Parenting a teenager with ADHD is just like being the conductor of an orchestra. Without the conductor, the orchestra doesn't play. So imagine for a moment a symphony orchestra. Picture the different instrumental sections, the strings, the brass, the timpani, the piano. The musicians show up with their instruments and their sheet music in hand. They go to find their chairs and they begin tuning and warming up their instruments. But there's one big problem. The conductor hasn't shown up. It's now 5 minutes after showtime, 10 minutes late, and the musicians are looking at each other and they're really confused, they're getting nervous, and they're not sure about what to do. Some of the people in the audience are falling asleep, others have left altogether to ask for their money back. Afraid they're gonna let everyone down, the strongest of the musicians says, okay, here goes. I'll just start playing the music and you guys follow along on your music and do your very best to come in when it's your part. So then music begins, if you can call it music. It's not pretty, it's far from professional, probably sounds more like a cacophony than a symphony. The flute's coming a little late, the trumpets are way too loud, and the drummer, he's over there in his own world playing like a wild style of animal from the Muppet Show. Those humiliated musicians, they barely get through the first movement. But now, imagine that the conductor is finally here. There's an immediate sigh of relief on the stage and in the crowd. The conductor strides across the stage up to the podium, taps his conductor stick, bows are at the ready, drumsticks in hand, musicians at the edge of their seats sitting up tall, and on the downbeat, everything comes together. The concert is now being performed. It's melodious and the tempo is nice and steady. The audience relaxes, they know they're gonna get a good performance that meets their expectations. Mom and Dad, that conductor is you. And this conductor of an orchestra, a symphony, is the best analogy for how you are going to conduct your teen's brain toward success. Your teenager depends on you to cue in those executive functions. So when their attention gets distracted, you creatively and lovingly redirect them without embarrassing them, point them to where they need to attend, and then help them start, just like a conductor has everyone come in on their part. They're part of getting homework done, getting to bed on time, joining you to help prep for dinner. Directing, like a music director, is sometimes all it takes to get their executive functions ready and performing on cue. And without you, the music's not going to play. Just like those musicians waiting for the conductor, your child is waiting for you to stand up and show them where to place their attention. I have a good example to share with you. Right now, I'm coaching a mom and she's a rock star parent. And she really is great, but she is insisting that her 17-year-old son should be able to do everything on his own. And she says, I've told him a million times. And she says, when is he ever gonna learn? That all is understandable logic if her son were neurotypical, but not for a young adult brain with ADHD. Her son really does want to be able to wake himself up in the morning before school, but he can't without his mom helping to conduct the morning routine. He really does want to get all of his assignments in, and he doesn't want to be perpetually behind in school, but he can only stay on pace when his mom checks his homework every day after school. As long as that daily practice takes place, this kid stays on pace without a single missing assignment week after week. That's all it takes. He knows the rest of the music by heart. If mom drops her director's stick, then her son will fail. And the only thing he'll learn from that failure is that he's a failure, and that is not the lesson you can afford to teach your child. The critical performance skills, like staying organized, getting homework done and turned in on time, anticipating big projects, chunking them down to manageable pieces, saying something socially acceptable instead of making a faux pas. These are all skills that are 2 to 3 years delayed in brains with ADHD. So you won't be able to put that conductor's stick down anytime soon. Remember that under your direction, every time your teen has a positive performance, it's brain training to do the right thing, which then translates to a far greater chance that your teen will be able to perform solo all by themselves soon enough. So parents, strive to be this kind of maestro conductor for your teenager. Go out and find them a certified executive functions coach while you continually direct them lovingly and imperturbably in the way that they need to go each day, and helping them place their attention where it needs to be. Being in concert with your child will grow their confidence, and it's going to grow your relationship with your teenager. And if you keep up the conducting, I'll be giving you, Mom and Dad, a standing ovation.